Greetings, this is Fallen Heart. Last night, I finally finished Date Everything. Now, Date Everything has been out for a while, and I have very slowly been going through the game. I found every single Dateable. By the end of the game, there was, I think, 5 of them that hated me. 2 of which came out of fucking nowhere, but the rest of them, I just kind of hated them as well, so the feeling was mutual. I got the vast majority of them at a romance ending, and then a few with friends. Overall, I think Date Everything is a absolutely fantastic game. Possibly my game of the year. Yes, I'm serious. It's another example of a game that, just because the game has woke elements, doesn't mean that the game is inherently bad. Of course, I'm recording, so the Java update available thing finally pops up. It happens every single time. So, I think it's truly a fantastic game. There are several of these characters that I absolutely fucking love in general. There are several of these characters that I want to chop their heads off and shove it on a spike. But we'll see how it goes. I don't quite know how they're doing this. Like, we can see Kurt and Rod here are separated. I would kind of include them as the same character. I don't know if they've got every character here, but if there's any missing and I don't remember they're missing, well, that just says it all, really. So I can't remember the names of all these characters. I can't remember the stories of all these characters entirely. But again, if I've completely forgotten their stories, then it's probably a bad sign. So, we're going to go through one by one, and we're going to organize them, just like the game, in terms of love, friends, and hate. The closest to the label itself, the more I like them. The farthest away from the label itself, the less I like them. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with Abel the Table. I love this guy. He is great. I do see a little bit of myself in this guy. This is the kind of person that goes out of his way for other people, but like when it comes to them helping him, he kind of like, you know, stiffens up a little bit. He's just a good guy. He's just a good guy. He's a great guy. I've got a soft spot for the southern accent. I love the way he looks. He's one of these characters that don't really feel like they get lost in the object design. There's a few characters that feel like they're more of an object in terms of the design, and it was really difficult to kind of like translate them over to a person, whilst also being obvious what they were. Abel's really, really good. Great character. Really like him. I forget her name. She's likable. I would say she's a friend. She's really likable. For me, she only had like one singular interaction, and then I had her as a romance. That was it. Like, I got love with her out of one conversation. I don't know whether that's normal, but that happens with a few characters. The funny thing about her is what happens. So, in order to love her, you don't waste your breath. You just accept silence. She is the element of essentially. Like, the so you don't waste your breath by talk. The irony being, when you realize her and make her into a human, she never shuts the fuck up. She goes on and on and on and on, and actually ends up being an auctioneer in real life. Very, very, very funny. By far one of the hottest characters in the game as well, especially when she's realized, but even before then, like, damn. Amir, I'm actually going to put Amir here. I don't necessarily hate Amir, but Amir's whole thing is he comes across as disingenuous. He comes across as someone that's kind of like love bombing you all the time. He comes across as really manipulative and disingenuous. The kicker is he's not. He's being entirely honest. When he praises you up and calls you beautiful and all this kind of thing, he's the mirror, by the way. When he praises you and bigs you up and like tells you how beautiful you are, he actually means every fucking word of it. And if you want this guy to hate you, you will be insecure the entire time. The thing is, he still comes across as disingenuous. Like, everything about his line delivery, the way he talks, all of that, he just comes across as extremely disingenuous and manipulative, and it rubs me the wrong way. Like, even even when it is revealed that, yeah, he is completely genuine. Everything he says he really means. He genuinely does think you're beautiful. He thinks people are beautiful in general, and he wants people to see the best in themselves. It's completely real. He still comes across as disingenuous, and I just can't get over it. He's a really cool design, really cool character. I like the whole concept of essentially... Because one thing this game does is it kind of fucks with you on a regular basis. It fucks with expectations a few times. And Amir's one of the ones where it plays into that. And I did end up getting a love ending with him. But I just... Not a fan. The fire alarm is one I got late. And she's okay. I'm going to put her in... Oh, wrong one. I'm going to put her in Friends. She's okay, right? I like the story behind her, right? I do like the story behind her. It's a whole case of she's actually traumatized. She can't find balance. And it's common for people that have suffered through trauma to go through one extreme to the other. So, at the start, you find out that she actually witnessed a fire when she was young. And it was in a completely different house. And she said nothing about it. She thought maybe somebody was cooking or something. So she's like, nah, it's fine. And the house burned down. And she saw it all. So now she's hyper vigilant. Like, her fire alarm goes off fucking constantly. She thinks everything is a fire. If somebody's cooking, fire. You know, if somebody's lighting incense or something, fire. She's so paranoid, she's so obsessed, she thinks everything is going to result in the house burning down, right? So you basically try and get her to calm down and assess and take a bit of a break and not be so high-strung. And then she goes to the other extreme, in which she starts smoking, believe it or not. She starts taking up cigarettes. She starts going way too lazy and not giving a shit about everything. And then you're basically trying to teach her balance. And in the end of it, she's great. She's leading everyone. An actual fire happens. She's leading a bunch of people around in a house to help put the fire out. She handles it perfectly. And she ends up having like a really balanced life, depending on, of course, your choice. I ended up having the love ending with her as well. She's a very well-written character. She's covering... this is one thing I absolutely love about Date Everything. A lot of these characters have trauma or insecurities of some kind. And they are, for the most part, not all of them, there are some real stinkers in here, but for the most part, a lot of these characters, especially when we're talking about mental health issues or trauma or insecurities, they're written really friggin' well. And this is one of the things, like, when I started playing Date Everything, I assumed it would just be a silly joke dating simulator like Howtiful Boyfriend, the pigeon dating sim, if you don't know what that one is. You date pigeons. And they're like photorealistic birds as well. It's really funny. But I thought this was going to be that, just a joke. But whilst it is very, very funny, I laughed my ass off so many times throughout this entire thing. I was also blown away by the sheer quality of the writing and how well they understood a lot of the serious topics they're talking about and used these anthropomorphic objects in a very clever way to talk about a lot of this stuff. It was done brilliantly. It really was. It was done brilliantly. And she's a good example of that. So, I like her. I do think she is one of the ones I will forget. And I'll be entirely honest, despite the fact that she only has one interaction, and before you realize her, it's very memorable because of how different she is compared to her. Like, she does get a little bit aggravating at a certain point, but also she's well written. So, I think Friend is quite right. Art, I fucking love art. You literally discuss art with the guy, and then afterwards it has an effect on your house. Your house gets decorated with the art you discuss. It's brilliant. I love it. You sit there and you have a discussion about art. You tell him what you like about these various pieces. And they're real pieces, by the way. You tell you what you like about these various pieces. And obviously the person behind it understood. And it's not just... It's various different kinds of, like, classical art. There's, like, a Banksy kind of piece. There's a really old, like, brilliant piece of, like, a ship. And I think out of the 5 of them we go through, one of them I thought was hideous. I think it was an old Japanese piece of like a tree, but it just felt like it just seemed so shite to me. And the whole idea of the piece was to, I think it was to show it was the whole point was to be simple, but it was so simple it didn't feel like art to me. It felt like a child's doodle, and I really didn't like it, so that piece didn't go up. But everything else went up the house. So I chose how to decorate the house. It had a permanent effect on the house. It made the house look nicer. I love the discussion. I love his design. I love him when you realize him. When you realize art, it's brilliant as well, because essentially what happens is he is a true artist. He goes out there, he starts creating art, and he does really well for himself. People love his work, but he won't sell out. He won't compromise his artistic vision to make more money, and as a result he can't live as an artist, which is a beautiful commentary on what it's like to be an artist, because essentially you will have to sell out at some point. You will have to make a living on art. You will need to sell out. You will need to compromise your own vision. It sucks, but it's the reality, and he refuses to do that. So he doesn't really get anywhere with it. He builds up fame and then plummets down again. So he ends up being a security guard in a gallery. That way he gets to stand around all day, protect the art he loves so much, look at the art he loves so much all day, and have discussions about it with the people who come into the building. He finds his way of loving something without being directly involved in its creation. I think art is perfect. His design, his voice acting, his realization story, his post story, his interactions and gameplay mechanics, the fact that it has a permanent effect on the house. He's one of my favorite characters. I absolutely love art completely. I love his passion for art. I love art in general, the character and like the medium. So he is a character I had like a lot of fun with. I love this guy. He's great. Another guy I absolutely fucking love is, I forget his name. Is it Eddie Styles? I think it's Eddie Styles or something like that. I'm gonna put him slightly below art. I love this guy because this guy is essentially, he's either autistic or he's ADHD, right? This was one of the later characters I interacted with, and I've taken some screenshots to share with a friend of mine who does have ADHD, and it is so rare to see a character designed to, like, written and designed to be autistic in some way, or neurodiverse, without them being a trope, right? They're always a fucking trope. I hate seeing autistic characters in media because they're always a fucking trope. However, this character was obviously written by someone that knows all too well what it's like to deal with it. He has memory issues. He forgets shit all the time. I live with that daily, and people do not realize how legitimately terrible memory issues are until you live it. He has stuff going on in his brain all the fucking time. He hyperfixates on things. He info dumps. And he thinks he's annoying, and really, he thinks he's extremely annoying when he gets passionate about things. I completely fell in love with the guy. Like, if I was into men, I'd be all over this fucking guy, right? I love his character so much. So here's something he says. Sometimes I know I should do something, and I just don't. I'll say I'll do it later, knowing full well I'm just going to forget. And if you have 40 points in empathy, you get the option to say, I think that's what they call executive dysfunction. So not only are they speaking, not only are they writing this character knowing full well what it's like to deal with these issues and like expressing that really well, they're also fully aware of the terms. See, this is an element of woke games that I do kind of want to see more of, because look, I'm not a feminist. I hate social justice warrior bullshit. I hate woke ideology and all this kind of thing. It's a cancer in gaming. But some of the things people discuss in these circles are things no one else talks about, and there is actually some level of value in these. Now, if we can take these ideas, remove them from the Marxist ideology, and actually talk about what these things are and how they affect people, I think that could be good. And it is nice to be seen. People go on about games don't have to mirror who you are. They don't have to represent you. And I agree, that's true. But if you're someone that's never represented ever, and when you are, it's always a fucking stereotype, when you are represented accurately and with empathy in a piece of media, it feels really good. It does feel really good. Hence why I like this guy so much. So some of the other things he says is, I feel myself dumping information when nobody asks me to, banging on and on about something that interests me, even if I sense I'm boring the life out of whatever poor soul had to hear it. I've done this. I info dump. That's actually one of the reasons I started to do YouTube all this time, these many years ago, was because it was a way for me to get out my passions, get out my frustrations, and rant without annoying people. If I make a YouTube video and upload it, that way people have the option to engage or ignore. I get this out my system. I get it out my system, I release it all without annoying anyone. And it's entirely up to other people whether or not they want to engage in that, right? Another thing he says is, I'm not pretending to be someone else exactly. It's more that I work so hard on projecting what I've always thought was the best version of me, because I'm afraid of people seeing all of me. That legitimately made me emotional when I read it, because it's so hard to express what that's like, and that is the best written way that is the best way I've ever seen it be written before. It's like, yeah, I am always me, I am always who I am, but I do curate myself to best fit into whatever environment I'm in, and I curate myself by putting what I believe are my best qualities forward. I do exactly that, but the thing is, it's fucking draining. It's so fucking draining, and even when I'm with people I love and I know I can be myself around and I know love me, I still do this to a certain percent because I'm so used to masking. I'm so used to, like, hiding elements of myself and pushing the best part of myself forward, that even around people who I love their company, I love them and I know love me, it still drains the ever-living shit out of me. So this character I love so fucking much, because of how well they were written in terms of something that I deal with myself and other people in my life deal with. Beautiful character, and round of applause to whoever wrote him. I absolutely love him so much. She is the Bath, and she is insufferable. Really don't like her. She doesn't learn anything at the end of the day either. One thing you'll learn early on in Date Everything is that sometimes you just have to fucking validate them. You just have to validate them. Even if they are a toxic person and everyone around them kind of hates them, you just have to validate them, right? This is why characters like her get ahead, because you can help teach her balance. You can help him get around some of his issues. But her, she doesn't fucking learn. She is a narcissistic bitch the entire way through. She is one of the characters I ended up being friends with because I insulted her, but at the same time I didn't go too heavy-handed with it. I forget her name. She's the box. Fun character. She's like an Indiana Jones. She's like the cardboard boxes in the house. Fun character, very Indiana Jones. She has a kind of like joint quest adventure with the pirate character, like the ship in a bottle character, called Jacques, which apparently is the longest quest in the game, because there's a shit ton of text. Like, there's a shit ton of text. And doing this quest actually unlocks another character. And there isn't actually an achievement for reading all, or listening to all the dialogue, which I did thoroughly because I fucking enjoyed it. It was really fun. She's just a funny Indiana Jones kind of like roguish character. She works really well with Jacques. Where is Jacques? I might as well throw him up here as well. Here he is. Brilliant character. I love Jacques. I love his design. I love his concept. I love his voice acting. Great, great, great character all the way through. I ended up getting love with both of these. I'm actually going to put Jacques ahead just because he's just far more interesting than a cardboard box. His voice acting is phenomenal. He's just so fun to listen to. And he's just fun. He's one of the asshole characters in the game that is, he's a bit of a tsundere. He's not full on an asshole. He's a bit of a tsundere. But he's a lot of fun. He's just fun to listen to, fun to be around. And I'm going to include them together because they are kind of like connected in their quests. Very, very fun. But there's not much I can say about her really. She's fine. She's fun. I'm gonna put her there, I think. This is the worst character in the game by a country mile. This is a butt plug, and it was bought for you as a joke by some of your friends, and it hates you essentially because basically it's a joke to people. People laugh at the butt plug, right? The thing is that in order to validate the character, you need to play in with its hyper sexual aggression. Essentially, in order to make this character like you, you need to basically agree to have sex with it, right? And that really put me off. That like this is a character that in order to it to not hate you, this was I think my first hate in the game. In order to not hate you, you have to essentially let it use you. You use it technically because it's a butt plug, but it's so hyper sexually aggressive. No. No. It is a disgusting character in every sense of the word. I'm not a fan of it. It's going to be very, very difficult doing an all run with this just because I hate the idea of essentially being forced into sex. That's essentially what you have to do with this character. It's horrible. The worst character in the game. Betty is cute. She's sweet. She's cute. She's sweet. One of the earliest characters you'll run into in the game. I really, really like her. I do think that if I did actually have the Dateviators in real life, the bed will be one of the characters I'd want to bring to life, because the bed is like one of the most intimate spots in your house, right? It's where you're most vulnerable because you're asleep. There's no place in your house you are the most vulnerable than the bed, because it's where you sleep, it's where you have sex, it's the most vulnerable place in the house. So this being like a really warm, sweet character who is also actually incredibly vulnerable herself, I think it's very well written. I think she's a really, really good character. Dorian is fun. There's a bunch of different Dorians all over the house, depending on which one. There's a super serial Dorian. There's a small, tiny Dorian. Like, every door in the house is its own Dorian, pretty much. Very, very fun character. I adore the British accent. I wish I could do the British accent like that. Whenever I do, like, a stereotypical British accent, I sound Australian, which is annoying. But Dorian is great. One of the most memorable characters in the game. She's adorable. This is your mini bar. And she's just really, really cute. Not a lot I can really say about her. She's just really, really cute. This guy was the first guy to kind of like rub me the wrong way a little bit. He is a time capsule from the 80s, right? He's a time capsule for the 80s, and I loved his concept at first. I love how, like, legitimately 80s he was in a few ways. However, his entire quest kind of boils down to the past was problematic. And a lot of the real people they name drop, like, for example, Lovecraft, does have some problematic ideologies and opinions that even for their time was a bit much, right? Or they were involved in scandals and things like that, right? So a lot of what they cover is actually legitimate, and the whole point of his storyline is actually not very woke at all. I was just on edge when I first started because it's kind of obvious what line of politics the developers behind this game would land on. Let's just put it that way. But I was a bit dubious going into his quest line because I felt like I'm going to actually, speaking about this now, I'm going to put him down a little bit. I felt like during the process of his quest that I was being preached at. But the whole point of his quest is essentially, it is perfectly okay to like these things that have problematic elements to them through a modern lens. However, you really need to acknowledge the fact that they have them. Which, to be fair, is fine. That's a much healthier mentality than what a lot of, shall we say, woke people would have, in that if you like these things with problematic elements, then that means you like the problematic elements and you agree with them and you're a terrible person, right? That's the true woke, that's the true woke mentality behind that. But thankfully this doesn't have that, and the whole point behind it is essentially, it's fine to like these things, just acknowledge the problems with them, which I think is a pretty healthy mentality to have in general, so that's fine. But I can't deny that it did rub me the wrong way, because unlike most of the other characters with social commentary, this one in particular really felt like being preached at, especially considering the fact that I like the 80s. I like a lot of 80s music and movies and fashion style and all that kind of thing. And I'll admit, I did feel a little bit personally attacked with this. It just... But I think that some of that is my own barriers coming up rather than the game's problem. And those barriers are coming up purely because of how fatigued I am from the culture war. Keep in mind that I got into the culture war with Gamergate back in 2014, and it has only gotten worse since then. A guy was shot recently for things like that, you know what I mean? So it's not... It rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But I don't hate him, because I think objectively they did it quite well. But I don't hate him. It's more of a me problem. Speaking of disingenuous, I kind of had the same problem with this guy, the cabinet. I like him a little bit more, but I'm just not a fan of, like, love bombing. I think that's the way of going. I just don't like love bombing. I just don't. It makes me uncomfortable. And I've actually been in a relationship before where I was love bombed, and it was done in the classic manipulative way, which, again, it's understandable why I'm a little bit off-put. Yeah, he's another kind of, like, smooth talker kind of character. All he does all the time is love bomb you and love bomb you and love bomb you and love bomb you. And it turns out the reason why he does it is because he's just watched a bunch of movies and he's repeating them, right? I got a love ending with this guy as well. At first, I started playing myself. And I started being like, okay, so here's the responses I would have to this. So I was playing what I would legitimately say to things, right? And after a specific character, the safe, I realized, oh, okay, I can't really play the game like that. If I play this game like that, all of the like, so many of these characters are gonna hate me. Like, if I play the game like that, if I am honest with my own values and my own, like, disgust responses to things, a good chunk of these characters are gonna hate me. And if they hate you, then you can't realize them, and you miss out on a decent chunk of the game. So at a certain point during my initial playthrough, I stopped playing myself, and I just kind of played, in a way where I thought it made sense for the character. I started essentially validating the characters and saying what I think they'd want to say and trying to understand them, and I think that went the game better, which is why I will get love endings and friendship endings on characters that I really didn't like. That said, there are 3 specific characters in this game that I think are disgusting, and I would struggle to get anything other than a hate response from them. Benoit, the butt plug, is one of those 3. The other hate outlets I got, one felt like a bug, and the other one was just like an instant fail situation, which is a shame because I really like that character. But yeah, like, he's just a love bomber and it rubs me the wrong way. Celia is the ceiling. She's actually quite a likable character. She's one of these ones where you think she's going to be snobby and snooty, but she's really not. She's actually quite loving and likable and quite motherly. And she is paired quite fittingly with the Floor, who is a little bit insecure, but sweet and bubbly and adorable. Where is she? Here we are. Here's the Floor. So I'm gonna put these two together because these are kind of like part of the thing. Yeah, I think they're both cute. I kind of like. Don't know what it is about her. I guess she had a much stronger impression on me. I feel like she's the barrier. She had a much stronger impression on me than I realized. It's mainly just when you realize her. She's so funny when you realize her. The fact that she does a complete 180. There's another character, like, actually, in the game that does a complete 180 in personality when you realize them. Because I realized every one but 5, right? I'll mention the 5 when they come up, if I can remember them. But yeah, they're fine. I do really like them. They're a nice pair. They're adorable together. Again, so there's various polycules you can get into. So, you can get into a polycule with him, another character, and yourself, of course. And you can get into a polycule with her, and yourself. So, again, if we're talking about... If I was playing myself, there's no way in hell I could have romance endings like that, because, to me, polyamory is kind of gross. So, I couldn't really get romance endings with these characters. That's why I changed my mentality while playing, because I realized, oh... This game actually has some elements to it which, in real life, it would kind of disgust me. And polyamory is one of these things that kind of disgusts me. To me, polyamory is done by people who are desperate and, like, will just jump on anything. You know what I mean? Or people who are being actively manipulated by a specific person. I do not think healthy polyamory really exists. If anyone is watching this and is in a healthy polycule, please correct me, because the idea of it is kind of nice, like, you know, free love around several people together, like, it's kind of nice, but the reality of it, I think, is kind of gross. But again, like, you know, it's fine in fiction. It's like I'm not gay, you know what I mean? But I'm perfectly fine romancing male characters because it's not real, you know? I was blown away by how good she was. Wow, she was a good character. By far some of the best voice acting in the entire game. I was enthralled every single second with this character. She's a little bit annoying to get into because she's like a super busy character. And if you go to her at the wrong time, you will... you'll waste a point, essentially, for the day. And she'll be like, oh, I'm busy in my job at the moment. Or, oh, I'm currently resting my voice, so I really don't want to talk. Because, like, she's a singer and performer, so she's talking all the time, right? So she's having days where she's resting her voice. But, she's essentially like an actor and a singer and a performer. And a lot of her things also have these two showing up as well. And their reactions are really funny. But, no, she is one of the most enjoyable characters in general. Like, her raw energy and enthusiasm and personality, and my god, the voice acting's good. Really, really, really fun character. We got the character voiced by Max Mercer, of course, the Dungeons and Dragons character. He was really good. The whole scenario behind him was basically D&D. Yeah, I remember him quite well. He was a lot of fun. I do like him. So next we got Kurt and Rod, and obviously I'm connecting these two together. These were actually a character I ended up getting a hate result on. But then I used the candy to end up with friends, right? So we're gonna put these guys... I think the best place to put these guys is probably here. Yeah, that's the best place to put these guys. So, Kurt and Rod, I really didn't like them at first. In fact, there's a running theme with me. I do not like a lot of the sassy characters. There's one or two sassy characters I really like, but I feel like the majority of the sassy characters really rub me the wrong way. I do not like them. I find them obnoxious more than anything else. I didn't like Kurt and Rod at first. I found them to be obnoxious. However, as it went on, and I got into kind of like the got him, zinger, kind of like insult hazing, or what would you call it, like banter. At that point, I'm like, yeah, okay, I see where they're going with this. But as the quest goes on, this guy bullies the shit out of this guy constantly, right? And it gets to a point where it doesn't feel like friends having banter. Like, I've been in heavy banter circles before. Like, my D&D guild was like, sorry, my World of Warcraft guild was like this, and like, I'm in, like, I've got several friends in which we take the piss out of each other all the time. The reason why we can do that is the joke is we don't remotely feel that way. So if I say something truly horrible to a friend of mine, or if he says something truly horrible to me, we're gonna know, because we know we don't feel that way. The joke is what we've said is fucking stupid because we don't believe that way. It's like dark humor in general. When you make, like, rape jokes or child murder jokes, it's not that you think these things are good or laughable. The joke is these things are so absurd to advocate for or joke about that it's funny because it's so offensive, essentially. It's such a horrible, evil thing to say. That's why dark humor is funny. The thing is, these guys are so consistent, especially him. He is so consistent with shitting over this guy and then backing it up, where it feels like he actually feels that way, where it feels toxic. It does. It feels like a toxic relationship. So eventually, at a certain point, you get a chance to pull this guy aside and then be like, look, I think the friendship you have with this guy is toxic. And instead of discussing, like, what I actually think, the next time I interact with them, they're like, yeah, fuck you, you're trying to separate us apart, you bastard. And I'm like, that's not what I was doing at all. So I ended up having a fucking hate relationship with these guys. I used the candy on them, and then that was my sassy candy gone, and most of the other characters that ended up hating me were sassy characters. And it felt really annoying. So in the end, I didn't like these guys purely because of that ending. That being said, I don't hate them because like, middle way through, they are kind of funny. They are memorable. They are one of the most memorable characters in the game. They do have their moments. But it did kind of sour me because I do generally feel like the relationship these two have, it's not a banter relationship. It's actually fucking toxic, to be perfectly honest. And because this was made by a very obviously left-wing kind of thing, I don't think these people have friendships like... I don't think these people have real banter friendships. I don't think these people understand what banter friendships are like. They're not toxic because there's an understanding that the banter is not coming from a real place. These two don't come across that way. These two generally do come across as toxic. But, yeah. Daisuke is cute. I do remember him. He's a cute character. I quite like him. But he's also kind of a little forgettable. This guy is a really interesting one. I started off really not liking this guy and thinking, oh, okay, we got like an Andrew Tate situation here. Like, he's a, where am I putting him? I'm going to put him here. Yeah. I feel like he's got like an Andrew Tate situation here where he's essentially a pickup artist. He's teaching you how to riz. But then you get into it and you realize, oh, no, actually, wait, like, he's really teaching, like, legitimately healthy advice on how to meet people and maybe make friends and get into romance and things like that. One thing I also really like about this character is this guy actually has a lot of special, like, stat questions, responses. So do you know before when I was talking about him, where I mentioned if you have so many empathy points, you can bring up executive dysfunction? Well, this guy has a few of those special stats responses that you can give. And it's actually a bad idea to give them sometimes because, he points out, is like, yeah, you've got a lot of stats and experience in these things, but you could have got them by making people hate you. Essentially pointing out that, yeah, you know how to talk to people, but you could do it in a manipulative way. You've got to show that you genuinely are interested in the conversation, that you genuinely want to know more about the person, not just click on whatever it is that you think they want to hear because, oh, this is the special option, so this must be the right option. And I got to him pretty late in the game. So at that point, I was kind of conditioned to be like, oh yeah, the special option is the good option. That's the one I need to go for. But then he pops up and he's like, no, I want you to actually listen to our conversation, listen to what I'm saying. And in the end, it turns out that actually he can teach, but he can't do. He is completely 100% right in the advice he's giving you about meeting people and getting dates and things, but he can't actually do it himself. He can teach people, but he really struggles to apply the same thing himself. And then he gets really insecure, and then you essentially have to reassure him that I'm doing exactly what you told me, and I'm not doing it because you told me. I'm doing it because, you know, this is genuine. He's another one I ended up having a love ending with, and legitimately really great character. He's voiced by as soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, I know that voice. He's the American Dragon. He's been into a bunch of things, like a very quite a long in the business voice actor for like cartoons and things. Cool guy. So I knew I recognized his voice right away. Didn't sound like a 40'd sound, but like, yeah, very, very well written character. Dasher is great. She is the one you can end up with in a polycule with Abel. Abel is a table, Dasher is the desk. I'm on my Dasher right now. But no, like, she's really, really cute. The polycule you get in, actually, with these two is actually really wholesome. They're both really big, wholesome, caring, protective people. And it does that whole thing where she's the Russian trope of she's a big, burly, kind of like, you know, masculine-looking woman, but she's actually a massive softie that just actually wants to be loved and romanced and all that kind of thing. And again, Abel is like a big, burly, kind of like protective Burr kind of character, but he's also like a big, big softie that gets bashful when people get a bit too like close and personal with him. And I just love them. I really do. I think they're perfect. I love the two of them together. I actually like Abel a little bit more than I like her, but I do like them so well that I'm going to put them as part of the polycule together because, yeah, they're fantastic characters. Speaking of fantastic characters, your diary. I fucking love her so much. Oh my god. Your diary has basically, I don't know what kind of like mental health issue you would call this as, but because she's your diary, all she is you. You have been writing in her for a long time, and then you stopped writing in your diary. You stopped doing it. And every single thing you wrote in your diary was kind of like, it wasn't the best. It was either the best of you or the worst of you. There was no normal there. There was no stability there. And because of that, she ended up a little bit ditzy and kind of like, she doesn't know what is her and what is you that you've written in her. She's both a blank slate and filled with basically you, and she doesn't know where she begins. So her entire kind of quest line is basically trying to get her some independence, trying to get her some independent thought, some sense of identity of who she is as an individual. And I just thought, again, voice acting absolutely phenomenal, design fantastic, resolution fantastic. She's in a one I ended up with a love ending with. I think all of these I ended up with a love ending with at the top here. But no, she is really, really memorable, really, really great voice acting, great design, just really fun quest line. It seems to be like the big kicker for me, especially with these top three at the moment, is either hit on something real for me, have a really good quest line, hit on something real for me and affect the house, hit on something that I find very, very interesting and is a really good kind of like realization of concept and just a good quest line. So yeah, so we got another one that's part of a 2 here. We have her. I'm gonna put these, do you know what, I'm actually gonna put these right up the top. So these two have a colossally dysfunctional relationship. these two are involved. So this is the hamper and this is your dirty clothes, right? So he is inside her all the time. And she is clingy as all hell. You get it? And then what happens is he gets clean, and then he's removed from her, which makes her even more clingy. And she's spending her entire time with him, comparing him to someone else she was with in the past, which turned out to be, was it like a Pritt stick or something like that? Like a forget what it's called. What you put on your lips when they're too dry. I forget what it's called, like lip chap or something. But essentially, you left one of them in your pockets, and it was washed. So you left one of those in your pockets, and like a pants or something, and she ended up in a relationship with that guy, and then your pants were washed, and he was killed. Because basically the wash melted him. So he was killed, and she never saw him again. And she spent the entire relationship comparing him to her past relationship, right? So she never loves him. She is constantly seeing her past relationship. And I ended up in a romantic relationship with both of them, only this isn't a polycule this time. And I realized both of them. When he was realized, he was so happy. He got his freedom. And he ended up being like a little bit of a fucking loser, like a bit of an incel, to be perfectly honest. Whereas she, you end up sleeping together in your bedroom, and the entire time she is screaming your name as much as possible. This is all in text, by the way. And she's looking over at the clothes, at like the wardrobe. Basically, the entire time she's with you, she's thinking of him and she's trying to make him jealous. These two people are so unbelievably fucking toxic, and it is so funny the entire time. The difference between these and these is these were written with the complete awareness of that they are both toxic and pretty bad people, whereas this was written where they kind of thought that they were actually good people, and it didn't work out right, you know? That's why I love these, because these are fully aware of what they are. The concept was done very well. Their designs are great. The voice acting is so fucking good. These people are screaming at each other. And it's so fucking funny. It's so funny. And even when you get the good ending and you make them realize, like, look, you two are toxic as fuck. You need to separate. You need to leave each other. And then immediately she's like, so, hey, fuck him. Do you want to be part of thing? And it's just like, you know, she's just doing it to make him jealous. They're so toxic, especially her. But it's so funny. And it's so well written the entire time. Right, we're going to get on to the next character. That one of the three characters that I legitimately hate and will struggle getting anything other than a hate ending. This guy. This guy, I'm only going to put a little bit above her. I'm gonna put there just because he's entertaining. So this guy is, I don't hate her, but well, I do kind of hate her, but not on the same level I hate these two, because it's a fun quest. But he's just funny. He's funny. That's why he goes ahead, right? So this guy is a smart dishwasher by the name of Dishy, and he wants to connect to the internet. And by connecting to the internet, you give Valdivian, this big conglomerate, all of your information. Like, you give it, like, basic information, but you give it, like, your shopping history, your financial records, a bunch of things, right? If you connect this thing to the internet, you're essentially giving this company a bunch of personal information. And it's just a fucking dishwasher. It doesn't need all that information. And the entire time, every interaction with this guy is, put me on the internet, put me on the internet, put me on the internet, put me on the internet. And in the end, I'm like, no, you are not connecting to the internet. So he ends up hating me. And you know what? That's okay. I am actually very curious as to what Dishy looks like if you realize him. I'm gonna Google that right now because I'm curious. Date everything Dishy realized. Let's see what Dishy looks like when you realize him. What? He literally becomes the Vault guy. Wait a minute. He just becomes the fucking Vault guy. Copy image address. Let me There we go. You do this. Yeah. He's just a fucking Vault guy. That's it. Like, look at that face. He just fucking becomes the Vault boy from Fallout. That actually makes a lot of sense because that's legitimately what Dishy is. Dishy is a disingenuous kind of like corporate mascot. That's all he is. And I do fucking hate him. I hate everything fucking about him. He's funny. Like, he's not this bad. There's a reason why this character is low is because he's disgusting. His questline is gross. And he's not funny. He's just disgusting. Whereas this guy's at least funny, right? Same with her. She has some funny lines, but I legitimately hate these two. I do. Like, it's gonna. I'm gonna struggle. The only reason she is below him is because he's funny to hate, whereas like she's just conceited. Are we grouping these two together? So which one's this? So we got... So there's... Next we've got... I don't know whether it's Washburn or Drysdale. Have we got another one around here somewhere? Oh, this guy's here as well. So this guy is him, but clean. So that's your dirty clothes, and that's your clean clothes. Gonna be entirely honest. This guy's a fucking incel. I'm actually not a fan. I prefer him when he's like this. I'm not gonna lie. What you call it? Where the fuck is... Are these both of them? That's gonna be weird, because I like one of them a hell of a lot more than I like the other one. Oh no, here we go. So we're gonna include these together. Alright, so this one is... So this right here is Drysdale. He's voiced by the same guy that does Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3. He's fine. He's fine. I don't hate him. Don't love him. He's just okay. And then this guy I actually found really entertaining. So some of you will be confused as to why I really like this guy, but I don't like these guys. He doesn't love bomb. He's just a fucking poet. This guy does not love bomb at all. He is like the tortured poet kind of personality. And I must admit, got a little bit of a soft spot for that. I'm going to put him here. Got a little bit of a soft spot for that, right? I find him waxing poetic about things in a very, like, tortured artist kind of way to be kind of a turn on. I'm not going to lie. So, it works for me. He's just kind of arrogant. Like, Drysdale is just kind of arrogant, but Washburn, And besides, I never use a dryer anyway. I ended up with romance with Washburn and friendship with Drysdale, but they come as kind of the pair. But nah. I think Washburn is just a lot more entertaining to talk to. This guy I feel really bad for, because to be perfectly honest, I feel like if so this guy has one of the best written quest lines. He's essentially a guy that loves sports and wants other people to love sports. He doesn't like he doesn't like extreme competitiveness. He doesn't like people being elitist with sports. What he wants is for people to just love playing sports, really enjoy themselves because it's really good for you and it's really fun. And he wants everyone to just love it and enjoy themselves. And he has a bit of a problem with his father. He was a disappointment to his father because his father knew he could go pro, and he definitely could. But he hated the environment of, like, the pro sports environment. He just wants to have fun with it. He just wants to love it. And the moment it became a real profession was the moment it removed all the joy from it for him. He is super sweet, really positive, great guy. I cannot say a single fucking bad thing about him at all. When you realize him, he is he ends up being like a coach for kids. Like, his kids never win anything, but they love the sport. They love playing. Like, they love him. He's just the perfect dad. He's such a cool guy. He's such a nice guy. And you know the way the whole nice guy thing? The problem with him is he's a nice guy. And he is boring as all hell. Oh my god, his quest is so boring. It's so well written, and he's so nice, but he's so boring. And I think it's partly because I am not a sports guy. I don't care about sports. I don't care about sports in the fucking least. Sports are boring as shit, and his entire personality is sports. It's so fucking boring. I'm not a, like, oh, I hate it. I feel like a bad guy because the writing behind this guy, great, truly, one of the better quest lines, but he's so boring because I couldn't care less about sports. I'm gonna reorganize these a little bit. I'm gonna put him down here, her up here a little bit. Yeah, I feel like that's about right. Okay. I feel really bad because, yeah, he's so fucking boring. We got another pair here as well. These two together. So these guys ended up hating me. And I honestly don't know what I did wrong. These two ended up hating me. These are like your power and power, like fuse box kind of characters. They run like a club together. And everything at first, like, it was all building up to this guy being an abusive manipulator of this guy, right? That's really what it seemed like. It turned out that this guy and this guy are the same kind of person. Whereas, like, he's the old fuse box and he's the new fuse box, but the old fuse box stuck around. You know, I actually don't understand it. The writing in it was so fucking confusing, where I wasn't quite sure what the concept was. I think they're supposed to be the same person. He is just like one element of this person. I don't understand it. But eventually I said something to him, and it was obviously the wrong thing, and they ended up hating me. And I really don't understand why. I love this guy. I thought he was so much better than him. Like, I got his, like, work ethic kind of mentality. So I'm going to put it like that. He's definitely going higher. And he really did come across like an like, everything about this story was building up to be, oh, this is an abuse story. These guys are in a relationship and this guy is abusing him. All the signs were there. He is really nice and trying to fucking, you know, get on your good side. He doesn't want you to see him at any point. Like, he is trying to keep him, you away from him. And it really seemed like an abuse story. Like, he was like abusing him and keeping him out the way so no one could see. But it turned out that he was keeping him away from you because he is so busy trying to just keep everything together, and he exists specifically to entertain people so he doesn't have to do that whilst keeping everything running, right? But I honestly don't understand the story properly. I understand bits, but I can't connect those pieces together. There's something about the way it was written where the hate ending just came out of nowhere, and I still do not know what the fuck I did wrong, so I ended up using one of my candies to make these guys friends instead. Part of it was more entertaining than him, so... See, do you know what? I'm actually going to put him down here. He gives me abuser vibes. He just does. He gives me abuser vibes. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I like a little bit more. I'm gonna put him here, I think. He just gives me abuser vibes. And even if that's not the point, that's really how it comes across. The fan. I actually ended up near the end of the game, I ended up in a romantic relationship with her. Like, I got the love ending with her, right? She is obsessed with you. She's obsessed. She's like an obsessive stalker. She's terrifying, and they do that so well. In fact, this character was the first time the whole trigger warning popped up, where it's like, oh yeah, some of the characters in this game talk about really heavy shit, so if you can't handle that, we'll just skip it and give you the best result. I turned that off, obviously. But, like, she gets into proper stalker territory, like obsessive fan territory. and eventually it blows up and she ends up hating you. But I can't remember whether I used the candy on her or like I actually got around it in some other way. But right near the end of the game, I was able to kind of like turn her around. I was actually whilst I was trying to realize her. And then every single time I talked to her, she said something else, and I ended up like friends with her. And then I said something else to her, and then we ended up with a love ending. I don't get it. I think eventually she understood kind of like balance and how like I'm not the most perfect person in the fucking world, and that she's actually kind of great herself as well. But she's just kind of like difficult to deal with. I'm gonna put her there. I don't dislike her. I think she's quite well done, but she's not a character I'm gonna look forward to interacting with in the first place. Freddy is another one that kind of like switches on you. He's a really cool guy, one of the most unique looking characters, one of the most disappointing realizations as well. He looks like that when you realize him. He just turns into a fucking Yeti and lives in the woods. That's really disappointing. I expected him to look more human. There's a few characters in this that when you turn them human, they don't look remotely fucking human. It's kind of disappointing. Freddy, the Yeti, Fridge, he's just kind of cool guy. He feels like the kind of guy that if you actually did have him in your life, he would be not a good person to have around because he would constantly like be an influence to make terrible decisions. He's just kind of like a chill dude, a cool dude, right? That's his whole thing. He's like, you know, the dude abides, right? He probably is like a follower of dudism or whatever it is from like that one movie. He's just chill. There's nothing particularly offensive about him. Do I like him that much? Maybe I do. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, he's just like a cool dude. He has a few interactions with a few people in the kitchen. He's just nice. It's just nice. There's nothing wrong with him. He's okay, right? He's slightly above. I think what we've got here is we've got the characters I really enjoyed and really like. We've got the characters here that, starting off at the top here, I really like, but not to the point of love. So, and that splits to around here, where I really like them, but not on the same level. And then it splits to kind of like here, where I like them, but there are some problems. I think is the best way of putting it, right? Fryer was very funny. He's an air fryer, and because air fryers are the new hot thing, he's a preacher of air frying. He was actually really entertaining the whole way through. I really enjoyed this guy. Yeah, I'm gonna put him about. Did I enjoy that? Yeah, I'm gonna put him about there. A really entertaining character the entire way through, playing with the whole preacher thing, trying to get him to learn like humility and like other people have different ways, and so on and so forth. You know, the whole social commentary of because the air fryer is the new hot thing, that it must be like the best thing ever because it's the new piece of technology. Oh my god, you cook without oil. Wow, that means everything you make is healthy. Meanwhile, he's making like mini pizzas and fries in the thing. Like, yeah, they're still not the healthiest thing in the world, even if you're cooking them without oil. And especially if, like me, when you cook, you use olive oil, which is actually good for you. So it's just like, you're still eating shite, you're just eating it with less oil. Like, that's it. But, he was a very memorable character. She is fucking adorable. I love her accent. I love her quest. I love her personality. And oh my god, the picture she sends you. You know what? She's going into love. Yeah, she's going up here. I fucking loved her. Let me get up my Steam and let me show you the screenshot folder. Manage screenshots. See on disk. Show on disk. Here we go. I'll open up the thing because I want to show you like one of the ending clips of her because it's so cute. Here it is. Let's copy and paste this. Copy, paste this to the desktop. Because I do definitely want to show you this. So let's add image. Here we go. This is so cute. Geyer hasn't stopped traveling since she left the house. She keeps you updated and tags you on every photo on social media. Her profile banner updates with a check mark on every country and every city she's visited. And the scene after this is basically saying, but your favorite picture is the one she sent you just after, like, just outside your front door when she came over to visit. She is so unbelievably fucking adorable, and her accent is great, and I love her so much. She's just a bundle of happiness and fresh air and just loveliness. She's so cute, she's so enthusiastic, she's so lovely. I love her. She's great. I think out of all the characters in the game, she actually might be one of the ones I'd choose to date in real life. She's just perfect. The Hanks are so fucking annoying. Oh my god, they're so annoying, and I don't particularly enjoy their quest either. They're so fucking annoying. On the opposite end, we got this guy with one of the best quests in the game. So, do you know the way I said that I'm a bit of a fan of, like, the tortured artist trope? Like, the whole tortured artist that reads you poetry straight from the heart. That works on me, very much so. This guy is exactly that. I'm gonna put him here. This guy is exactly that. I think he was one of the strongest characters early on for me. Like, he was one of the characters I full on went into because I just loved his interaction so much. He suffers from extreme shyness, and when he can kind of, like, cover his face and you can't see him, he talks in such a beautiful, poetic way. But then he's like hot and cold. His entire personality is written to be hot and cold. Like, he loves you. He admires you. He waxes on poetic about you and the concept of love. But then when you try and get close to him, he backs away because he's nervous and insecure. Great character. And again, great concept. Great realization of concept, because he's the AC, he's the air conditioning. And what does the air conditioning do? It makes the room hotter or colder depending on what you want. So his entire personality is hot and cold. It's great. It's a brilliant way of realizing a concept. Great voice acting, great storyline, really cute, love it. Hoove was just weird. I went through Hoove's questline and it just kind of ended. And I don't get it. Like, he's definitely one of the hottest male characters in the game. Like, I love his hairstyle, but I also like how his basic design just looks like a cosplay of a Hoover themed superhero. But I don't know. Like, it just kind of ended. I liked the concept at first. I liked how it seemed like he had some kind of, like, mental health issue or insecurity, but I can't quite remember what it was or grasp what it was. I don't know. That was it. So his whole thing was, because he's a Hoover, he's taking on everyone's baggage, essentially. He's everyone in the house. He sees them all every single day, and he takes on everyone's baggage. But at this point, he's taken on so much baggage that it's starting to weigh him down, and you are there to help him release some of that baggage. But every single time he does, he acts like a hoarder, and he wants to hold on to everything, and he kind of doesn't like you when you make him throw away stuff out, right? So I ended up with a friendship relationship with him, and I think that's because I made him throw stuff out. So in the end, it just kind of ends, and you really don't feel like you achieved anything with him. And he's also, despite the fact that you're a friend with him, it feels very much like I'm going to be friendly to you, but you're never getting close to me kind of thing, right? I think I fumbled up his story somewhere along the line. He's definitely a character I'm going to need a guide for at some point, but it just feels like it just ends, which is unfortunate. Next, we've got Holly. Holly is adorable. she is somebody that works and 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 works, and she pretty much works herself overtime. She's non-stop all the fucking time. She is every holiday, every celebration, and you essentially have to run an intervention with a few other people in the household to pretty much tell her, like, no, you've got a fucking problem. You need to slow down. We love you. We want you to just take a breather for once, right? Great character, great voice acting, super adorable, good quest line, right? This is another character like the concept of that has like one interaction, right? And he comes directly after another character that I really like. He is your ironing board, and he is a wizard. Why, I don't know. And he is also a bit of a dom. He calls you his little bunny. Now, there is another domineering character in the game that is one of the three characters, and her, that I find to be completely fucking disgusting. And she is a very domineering character. The difference is, this guy is a dominating character that's fun to play with. Like, if you've got more of a brat personality, if you know BDSM language, you know what I'm talking about. If you're somebody with more of a brat personality, then he's better. Because overall, he is a dom. So you big him up a little bit. You do sub to him. But he doesn't... He appreciates you having a little bit of a bite back. He appreciates a bit of a brat mentality, right? And there's only one singular interaction with him, and I ended up with a love ending with him. And I liked the interaction. I liked the playing around with dominance, where he was on top at all times, but I also kind of like got a few jabs in there as well and tried to like test him in his own dominance. And me personally, I prefer that role myself, but I can switch. It depends on the person. But with him, the way he was handled, I thought he was handled very well. And it was the kind of dominating personality where it didn't feel like degrading or abusive in any way. It just felt like two people flirting and having a bit of fun and toying with boundaries for a little bit, and that's why I actually found his interaction really enjoyable. Even if it's one singular interaction, I actually found that interaction really enjoyable. I'm gonna put him about there. Funny, like the same single interaction characters. It's funny, like, I am, again, heterosexual guy, only sexually attracted to women, but when it comes to video games, because there's no real physicality there, it's just a game, it's just characters and writing and voice acting, I have no issue whatsoever role-playing, kind of like being sexually active with a guy. I've got no interest in men in real life, but when it comes to video games, there's there's not that real element to it, so it really doesn't bother me. Like, I'm completely comfortable with the idea of having a very sexually driven conversation like that. But yeah, this was a disappointing one. He was great. Like, he is the toilet, and I purposely avoided the toilet for a long time because I felt like the toilet is the first thing a lot of streamers would go to right away because I'm going to fuck the toilet, you know, kind of thing, right? It turned out that he was a French rapper, or should I say a crapper. I forgot what the C means. It doesn't mean crapper. It doesn't mean crap. It means something else. And the voice acting for this guy is some of the best in the entire game. This is one of the characters I ended up with a hate ending with, and that's really disappointing because I used my fucking sass candy on these assholes, but I really liked him. I only had like a very few interactions with him, but if you fuck up the rap sequence, you immediately get a hate ending. If you fuck up with him at all, immediate hate ending, which is a shame because he's so fucking enjoyable. I really want to play through again at some point and like have another interaction with him. and like do his stuff again, because he is so fucking funny. He is so well voice acted. He is in the same vein as Jack, as Jaquez or Jack, whatever his character. He's in the same like category as that, right? Where he is kind of an asshole, but his personality and his voice acting are so well done that they're really enjoyable. Same thing with these two. Like, these two are complete assholes. They're toxic as all hell, but the voice acting and the questline with them are so funny that they are enjoyable to do. That's why they're up there. This guy's cute. This is one of the guys I did really early on. He's basically your shit drawer. Everyone out there has at least one shit drawer in their house. What is a shit drawer? A shit drawer is where you shove all the crap that has no home elsewhere. Leads and charges for things that you no longer have. You have no idea what it's there for, but that might be useful at some point, so you might as well keep it. You know, maybe some blue tack or staplers or some other little bits and bobs. And you have like a little bit of an art project with the guy where you're like, oh, let's turn these little random items into pieces of art. And those pieces of art go up in your house. That's actually how I found art for the first time. However, you can only interact with art once you find the actual piece of art in the attic. No, like, very enjoyable quest, really cute character. Yeah, I remember this one quite fondly. I'm gonna put him here. I feel like Dorian is another Door character as well. Door's the bracket between the guys that I really had fun with. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to put him here, actually. Yeah, he's the bracket between the guys that I really had fun with and people I like, but I feel like there were a few problems with. Dorian really is that break point. Because Dorian, you don't really have much interaction with either, but he has such an impression every single time you interact with him. Like, he's so likable. She is great. The piano... she's the piano. She's really, really, really great. Really, really great. She starts off a little bit conceited, but unlike someone else, she learns that, oh, there are actually things to like about these people. I shouldn't look down at them. I'm not the most important person here. And she ends up being, like, really romantic and sweet. And honestly, her accent, oh my god, her accent is so fucking hot. It's unbelievable. Because of that, she's going up here. Like, I really, really liked her, her questline. She was great. I'm actually wondering if I should move these higher. No. I think they're both in kind of like the same category. I'm going to put her a little higher. I loved her questline. She was so good. Her accent is so fucking hot. It's unbelievable. Speaking of loving characters, I want this guy in real life. Are you serious? This guy calls working out war, and he is your treadmill. And treadmills are the one form of exercise I do enjoy, because I enjoy walking, and when you're on a treadmill, you can watch something, you can run, you can walk, you can listen to things, and listening to the music helps you go at a certain rhythm. I enjoy treadmills. I used to have one, but I used it so often I broke the motor. Really? I'm serious? I enjoy treadmills. This guy is a Viking, which means obviously automatically I'm going to enjoy him. His voice acting is boisterous and bombastic. His personality is great. His interactions are funny. He's great. I found his entire questline really, really entertaining. Again, these are like the same kind of characters, right? You got the characters that voice acting are great and really entertaining and makes me come back for more. That's what all of these are. All of this. In fact, I'm probably gonna move these guys down a little bit, like there, I think. Yeah, I think that's about right. Great character. In the same vein as her. Really good voice acting, really fun questline. I want him in real life. I want this fucking guy in real life. I want him to be my fucking treadmill. Because if he was my treadmill, I'd be on that shit every single fucking day. Love him. Really good character. Oh my god. So this is this is one of 2 DLC characters. And the entire point of her character is a commentary on DLC. She doesn't interact with any of the other characters properly. She doesn't. She doesn't interact with any of the other characters properly. There's a segment in which she's talking to Dorian, but the voice acting isn't there. Obviously, a lot of this is probably pre-scripted. She was part of the original game, and being actual DLC actually plays into it. And the game's so good, I don't mind giving them a little bit of extra money for DLC anyway, especially with how well the concept works into this, by the way. She is so fucking well done. The DLC character, she is designed specifically to be the most traditionally sexually appealing character. And if you want, that's all she'll be. If you want her to just be a fucking character that flirts with you and takes you to a special room in which you can fuck her, essentially, that's essentially what she can be. But then, if you poke behind the curtain, you realize she's a real person and she's just basically playing a character. And she's actually severely depressed because she's constantly being what she thinks you want to be and want her to be, what you bought her to be. And she also doesn't interact with any of the other fucking characters in the house because basically she was added last. She wasn't meant to be in the game. She was DLC. She was just shoehorned in there for a little bit of money. And as such, she kind of feels out of place. She feels out of place in the game and as a person. Very just brilliant concept. I love it. And as you eventually, at a certain point, she basically just comes clean and like, please just let me be what I'm supposed to be, because the more you peel back the curtain and reveal to me what I really am, the more I realize that I'm nothing. I'm nothing without this character. I'm nothing without what you purchased me for. Without being whatever it is, love good. Without being this hyper-sexualized character, I'm nothing. Which again is a commentary of what some real life people feel in real life. It's so well written. And in the end, she becomes a fucking she joins a fucking religious cloister. She becomes like a nun or something, and she goes around helping people in that way. Like, she helps other people who are lost find their purpose. That's what happens when you realize her. She joins a cloister. She becomes a nun. And how many people who have basically tried to be something else and escape reality through essentially sex work have that exact same experience? I think she's such a brilliantly written character. She's such a brilliantly written character. She plays with the concept of sex work. She plays with the concept of being a DLC character and what that means, what that would do to a person if they were in that kind of thing where they were shoved into an environment which they were never meant to be. Brilliant fucking character. So well written. Where is she going? These are fun. I think I'm gonna put her here. Yeah, she's a brilliant character. Let's go and find the other DLC character. Mikey Transaction. Mikey Transaction is also really, really good. He's a family man. He's constantly trying to sell you microtransactions all the time. You can actually do it, by the way. The whole microtransaction thing where he does you, where you essentially pull from a loot box, and you get, like, gauntlets and boots and a bunch of things. And the whole idea is they raise your skill points by, like, 0.5 or something like that, so they don't actually do anything. And the only way to get them to do something good is to get the full set, which requires, like, 100 of one thing and then 100 of another thing, which then becomes something else. And if you get, like, 100 chess pieces, you actually get the fucking chess piece or something like that. I didn't do it. I didn't bother with it because it would take hours upon hours upon hours to actually do. But he sells you, like, in-game microtransactions using, like, fake money. And it turns out that he's actually just a really cool family man. He's a cool family man. He's got, like, 3 kids. He's just a working stiff. That's all he is. He's just a dude. He's just a dude doing a job that's a little bit morally bankrupt, but he has to pay the bills. He has to take care of his family. He's a really good father. He's a really nice guy, but then he puts on this personality whilst he's at his job, and he knows it's a little bit off, but he's doing it because he needs to pay the bills. Really, really good fucking character. Like, he's the real microtransaction character. Really, really good fucking character. It plays into the whole concept of how fucking bullshit microtransactions are, how evil a lot of this practice is, whilst also liking it to, like, the average working stiff Joe. I actually think he's a very well written character. Even the way he's designed doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the game as well, which is another commentary on that. Yeah, I'm gonna put him here. Like, Mikey Transaction's a really good character. The DLC's worth it. The DLC's worth it. The microwave character, he's just Duke Nukem. He's funny, but he gets tiring pretty quickly. I'm gonna put him here, I think. Oh, fuck this guy. Lux Delight. He is like your hyper gay online influencer that thinks he's the greatest thing in the world. I fucking hate him. He's just awful. Mac rubbed me the wrong way at a certain point. I can't remember why in particular. I think what it is Mac just comes across as a bit of a dickhead. Like, just a bit of a douchebag. But in a way where it's not kind of intentional. They just have no concept that they're actually being a bit of a dick. Yeah, like, she kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm gonna put her there. She's great. She's great. She's connected with a few different quests in the game. Where's she going? I'd say about there. Yeah, she's fantastic. Oh my god. Okay, so I definitely have a type. I'll be honest. I definitely have a type. And there's a reason why she's here, right? Okay, so I have a thing for goths. I'm not sugarcoating. I was born in the 1990s. You know, I was born in the 1990s. There's a reason why I have a thing for goths and redheads. I was practically conditioned to develop a thing for goths and redheads due to that time period. If you know, you know. What I love about Memoria is essentially what I love about Art. No, I think Art has the better story, so he's gonna go ahead. But, like, right, so much like Art, you go through a series of quests in the attic with Art and the trash can, Cam, wherever the fuck he is. And stuff that you want to keep goes up on the wall or somewhere in the house, which decorates the house, which, much like Art, makes it a very rewarding quest line, because not only are you basically having choices and going for a lot of dialogue and all this kind of thing, but you're making choices that has permanent effects on the rest of the house. Also, it looks like he is holding her, and that is really funny to me at the moment. Sorry, I'm distracted. I wonder what he's like. But you're making choices a lot through the house that are of putting stuff up from the past, right? Her whole thing is she is memories. She is the whole concept of, like, if you are a very, what's the term I'm looking for? I can't think of the term. Shit, I can't think of the word. Essentially, I am the kind of person to keep memories in items, right? I have items all over this house, from plushies to photographs to little knickknacks that make me think of certain things. So when my mother passed, I got a bunch of things of hers together. I put it in a box, and I have that box up on a shelf in a living room with something on top of it. I know what's in there, and it's essentially like having a little bit of her right there with me. Her picture's downstairs as well, but that's a standard thing. I can't remember what the term is, but I am very much like that. Sentimental, that's it. I'm a very sentimental person. I like having objects that have a lot of history in it, that means something to me, that represents something to me. I'm a big fan of symbolism and things like that, right? So her whole thing is essentially sentimentality, where she wants you to take a bunch of things that have been stuck in the attic for a long time, and she wants you to either get fucking rid of them, trash the whole thing, or put them up in your house, put them on display. That fucking pin collection or stamp collection that you started and never really got very far with way back when. Frame it, put it on the wall. Like, it looks nice, put it on the wall. That poster from that one movie you really fucking enjoyed and it's just been stuck up there all the time. Frame it, put it on the wall. The family photos of you as a kid, like, sure, frame it, put it on a counter somewhere. That is what she is. And the reason why I like her quest is the same reason I like Art quest. And the only reason Art is ahead of her is because I think he has the most satisfying ending. Her ending is super satisfying as well, but not in the same level as him. And And it's the exact same kind of quest. You're choosing stuff, you're displaying a bit of your own personality, you're interacting with the characters, and then it has a permanent effect on the house. On top of that, she is fucking gorgeous. Oh my god. She's so elegant and like the perfect rendition of what an older goth should be. I love her ending where essentially she starts making My Little Pony toys, but when people buy them, they've got like a little bit of an eeriness to them. So she's got that nice little bit of goth culture where goths don't just like dark things, they also like cute things, but they like darkifying cute things. So like fuck, do I have anything like this? Like the Skell animals from back in the day and whatnot, right? So I think she's great. I love her design. I love her voice work. I love her quest line. I love I love her ending. I love like her and Art. Joint first place, essentially. She might edge ahead purely because of sexual attraction, but I do think he has the better ending overall. I think he's the most complete of the characters. That's why he's there. Love her. Can't gush about her enough. Michelin was one of the characters I actually got a random hate ending with. So I think this was a bug. I'm not gonna lie. This is a bug somewhere along the line. A lot of people were complaining about just how buggy this game was, but I never encountered that, but I think I got it with him. His whole questline is really, really fun. You essentially go meeting different characters, such as this guy here and this guy here, and each one of them has like a restaurant and a theme, and you essentially go around the house speaking with these characters and having like little roleplay sessions of eating at a restaurant and the kind of cuisine that they serve. And throughout it, this guy was flirting with me, he was falling for me, I was saying the right things, and it was just really enjoyable having like these different cultural influences of foods and kind of places, and his whole thing was like everything from the ritziest diner to something a little bit more homely, and cultural. It's all good, it's all food, and it's all good in different ways, and it's enjoyable. And at one point, he legitimately tells me that, yeah, he fucking loves me. He's falling in love with me. Like, I'm fucking brilliant. Like, like, we're going on dates. He stops calling them, like, what he initially calls them, and he starts calling them dates, talking about the romantic setting we're in. And then I get to the end of his quest, and he tells me I smell like beef, and he shit-talks me, and he craps all over me. He talks to me as if, like, he says, oh, you're rude, you're uncultured, and you smell like beef. And it just comes out of nowhere. Like, at no point was any of his responses anywhere near that, and all of a sudden, at the end, he hates me? Weird, really weird. But his quest is really good, and I think if it wasn't for that bug, he'd actually be one of my favorite characters for that series of interactions. Like, he's a really, really good character. It's just, I feel like that bug kind of ruined it, which is a shame, because I didn't get to realize him. I didn't get to see what he would end up being. Here is your money. In order to get your money, you have to go through another character that I fucking hate. She's alright. I like her design. I'm not quite sure about her personality. But, yeah, she's alright. I quite like her. Let's put her... I think about there. I think that's about right. Not really much I can talk about, but, no, she's good. She's good. I remember quite liking her. Nightmare is so much fun. I love her voice. Oh my god, her voice is so nice. I love her design. I love the fact that when you make her human, she's just a flesh and blood version of that. She ends up doing like low budget horror movies and shit. No one seems to question it. But no, like she's just fun. She's just a really, really fun character. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for like characters like that. Yeah, like, she's just the concept of Nightmare, and she's really fun, and her voice work is great, and I love her design, and yeah. This guy is on drugs, and he's actually kind of annoying, but his questline's actually kind of fun. He's kind of like the opposite of this guy, where he's perfect, but his questline's boring to me, whereas this guy's like a bit of a bellend, but his questline's kind of fun. I'm gonna put him here. I feel as if he's the same kind of like place as this guy, where I like it overall, but I've got a little bit of an issue with it. So yeah. She is fucking believably adorable. Oh my god, she is so fucking cute. Where am I putting her? Do you know? I'm gonna put her here. She's so fucking cute. Oh my god. Oh, I don't like Phoenicia. I don't like Phoenicia. She's annoying. I like the ending. Like, the ending of around the time she's having a conversation with this cool dude right here. I like her then. But up until that point, she's just kind of bland and boring. And I'm not the biggest fan of, to be perfectly honest. Let's put her here. Right, I'll be perfectly honest. If I had the date V8 myself, the first thing I would bring to life would probably be a plant. She is so fucking cute. She is so cute. She is so adorable. She is so cute. She ends up, like, studying mushrooms and shit, if you realize her. I just think she's adorable. I love the whole idea that she's essentially your, like, new age spirituality kind of stand-in, where you kind of have to, like, validate her belief in the spirituality that she can, in fact, become a real plant. Because she's a plastic plant. She's not a real plant. And you can kind of, like, I ended up in a love ending with her because I kind of, like, validated her and being like, yeah, we'll try and get this to work. And in the end, she does actually become real. She does become real. Somehow, she becomes real. And when she becomes real, what's the running theme with a lot of this stuff? I think I'm going to have him... Yeah, I'm going to put her there. What's the running theme with this stuff? When she becomes real, you have greenery and plant life all over the house. So her quest line is rewarding because at the end of it, just like with these two, the house changes permanently in a really pretty way. The house gets a lot prettier once you finish her quest line. And I think Get Her to Love You or Friendship or something like that. Really, really good. I think she's one of the prettiest characters in the game. I love her voice acting. I like her quest quite a lot. And add a personal touch. If I showed you around my house, there's like, especially in the kitchen. In the kitchen, the top like thing where the window is, it's just full of plants. Full of plants. I've got mint there that I can take from and make tea out of. I've got succulents. I've got an aloe vera. I've got a big fucking like rock plant in the corner. I've got like plants out the wazoo in that thing. I love plants. I love greenery. I love nature. So obviously we've got that thing, and that's kind of like a through line here, right? Like, I love art. I'm a sentimental fucker. And I love goths, I love plants, and, like, neurodivergent kind of stuff is very close and personal to my heart. So that's really what separates these. Reggie's really good. Reggie's great. Reggie's just a hater. So in order to get Reggie, you have to make characters hate you. He shows up when a few people hate you. And what's really funny about Reggie is he, if you realize him, he starts immediately looking for hate in the world. Then he finds the internet, and he finds real hate groups, and he's like, oh shit, this is way beyond what I wanted. This is disgusting. So he starts going out of his way, like, going after hate groups. It's really, really funny. Obviously, again, because of the politics of the studio, the very obvious politics of the studio, you know what they mean when they mean hate groups. They mean people that don't agree with the ideology, which isn't really hate, but thankfully, because the game itself isn't so heavy-handed with this thing and blatantly tells you what they think, it doesn't matter, right? That's me. Like, this game is very woke in a lot of ways, but not to the point where it becomes culty, right? It doesn't ruin the game. I do feel like a lot of people will instantly dismiss this game because of the more modern political element to it, but I also don't feel like they wear those politics on their sleeves. It's just kind of there hidden in the cracks if you really want to look at it. And if you do it that way, it might ruin the experience for you. But again, like Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is full of woke elements. It really is, but it doesn't ruin the game. Right? It doesn't ruin the game. It's why you can still have a lot of these concepts without ruining the game. So it is kind of a shame, like, how many games are ruined with the ideology when it doesn't need to happen. You can still, and you can, if you want to make change, this is how you do it, you know? You normalize certain ideas without bludgeoning people over the head with them. But Reggie's really good, and Reggie's good just because he's fun. Like, he's a fun asshole. He's a fun asshole. But his ending is just so good. His ending is so fucking good. It's great. Raddle, I feel like, is a Marmite character. I feel like people either love or hate her. She's just a cunt, to be perfectly honest. She's a bit of a fun cunt, but she's also a bit of an annoying cunt. I'm gonna put her here. I think she does the same job as Kurt and Rod, but at least she's a bit more honest about it. Here's not a dateable. This is your friend, your work colleague. You can end up dating her right at the end if you make certain choices, but she's actually pretty good. Yeah, I think she's kind of around the same vein as Betty. I'm gonna put her around here. This guy, Scandelabra. Oh my god. Alright, so I love and hate this guy at the same time. Scandelabra is like a dandy, like, you know, one of those lights. It goes up at the center. There's one candle there, and then there's two candles at either side. He's one of them. I forget what it's called. He's one of them, and his whole thing is gossip. Gossip, 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 gossip. In order to get very far with this guy, you essentially have to romance a shit ton of people and then come back and tell exactly their personal stories to this guy. And he's like, ooh, scandalous, right? That's his whole thing, right? However, through a quest line with Maggie, the magnifying glass, you can actually find out that he is actually not made of silver. He's a fake. And then you find out that his real name is John Wick. And they're like, John Wick? What a boring ass name is that? No one would amount to anything with a name like that. And his real voice is like, so you want to bang or what? Like, that's it. Like, that's his voice. He's just got a basic fucking voice. That's it. Like, that's it, right? You know, so you want to bang or what? Like, that's it. Like, it's so fucking funny. But what really sets him apart is when you realize him, he legitimately becomes John Wick. He goes out of his way to destroy fake product manufacturers. He goes, like, into underground places and kills people, essentially. He legitimately becomes John Wick. And the whole gag is so good. It's done so well. He's not a very likable person. He's a twat. But just the writing around his character is so fucking good that I thought he's one of the most memorable characters. She's great. She's your muscle mummy. She's your shelves. And the whole thing about being the shelves is because she's a shelf, she's needing to hold stuff up all the time. Like, everyone is relying on her to hold them up. If she falters at any point, she'll fall from the shelf and a shit ton of her friends will die. So she has to hold them up. She has to hold them up. And the pressure of that drives her fucking wild. And it turns out she wasn't screwed in the wall properly. So for years, extra pressure has been put on her because she wasn't given the correct cure herself. Again, the whole concept of the character, the whole concept of what the character is, just a fucking shelf. What would happen for a shelf? Okay, well, they hold people up. Same thing for Dasher and Abel. Like, these are characters that have a lot of things on their shoulder, right? A lot of things on their shoulder. They are supportive people. She's also a supportive person, but she hasn't been given the support herself. So she's struggling to hold on. Great character. I'm gonna put her. Oh, here. Yeah, here. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, the sink. The sink has some really funny moments. Sinclair, he has some really funny moments, but he's also kind of annoying at times. I feel like I should like him way more than I do, but I really kind of don't. He's in kind of the same vein as Fan, whatever the fuck her name is. I want to say Fantisha, but I'm not sure. He's kind of there. Your Glasses. She's okay. She's a bit boring. I'm not gonna lie. She's with you from the start, but she's also one of the least interesting characters. And the way you get her, like, love or romance or friendship, love or friendship kind of thing is a bit weird. Yeah, I'm gonna put her there. Like, she's just kind of boring. Oh, fuck her. I hate her. Okay, so the only reason she is not as bad as him is because at least she gives you an option to a degree. She was one of my early hates. So the characters in this game I abso-fucking-lutely despise are Benoit, Sophie, Dishy, and this dude. Also, well, not even him, not to the same degree. Yeah, it really is her. It is not her. Like, it's a non-binary, so it really is this thing, her, this guy, and is there someone else? I think that's it, actually. I just fucking hate them. I just think she's a horrible character. So her whole thing is that she's a dominatrix, right? She's a dominatrix, and you are forced to be not only submissive to her, but take degrading language, right? Basically be talked down to and treated like shit. Like, look, I know some people get off on it, but here's the thing. She is not how real BDSM is done, right? BDSM is all about trust. And if you do not have trust, if you do not have proper communication, you cannot fucking do it. And at no point was that translated in his character. There was no choice, there was no trust. All she wants is someone to talk down to and denigrate and treat like shit, right? She gets off on it. And when you don't play along with it, when you're a little bit too outspoken or not as spicy as she wants, she ends up fucking hating you. And honestly, fucking good. I am not your thing to... I am not your sex toy. This goes to Benoit as well. I am not your fucking sex toy. You cannot force me in to do a sexual fucking thing. No. Now... this probably runs into the whole trigger warning thing. I have a feeling that both of these characters would come under the whole trigger warning thing. But to be perfectly honest, I'm not a baby. I can handle things that are not comfortable, okay? I'm not a fucking baby. What I would like is for you to write these characters better so there's a better resolution instead of basically being guilt-tripped into having sex with someone or being forced to be treated like shit. Again, BDSM being forced to. That's not how that works. That is not how the BDSM community treats things. It is all about trust and communication. And if you do not have those things, you are not doing it right. You are not doing it right. I really want a side thing with her where you can like turn it on her. You can like turn the BDSM thing on her. Or you can get to like her trauma or her insecurity or something, because most of these characters have something along that vein. But it never happens. This game would be better without her. To be perfectly honest, it would. And Benoit as well. They both feel like last minute additions that are just kind of like not well thought out in the slightest. And I do kind of wonder if some of the writers because there's like 4 or 5 writers, and I would love to know who wrote what, because I've got a strong suspicion that the characters I like and hate the most were written by the same person, right? I feel like characters like these were written by the same person, and then characters like these, because these are so flat, one way through characters. Why the fuck would you make a dating simulator in which there's only one specific way through it? I don't like it. It's the illusion of choice. And they're really, really bad as a result. I hate these two in particular. Like, looks onwards, there are things to like. I hate this guy, but he's funny. Like, these guys are fucking annoying, but I'm sure some people will find them really fucking funny. She's a conceited bitch, but at least it's entertaining. And this guy, I feel, is there to teach you a lesson. This guy is there to teach you a lesson. He has a reason for being the way he is. I think this guy in particular is just poorly written. Same with him, but he's just a little bit more likable. But these two are just really bad. And adding a trigger warning and telling me that I can skip them is not a solution for that. I'm sorry. They needed to be better written. There needed to be more ways around their quest rather than just skipping it and getting the pat on the head. You know, like, no, getting a gold star. You know, like, no. Like, Date Everything is probably going to be my game of the year. I'm being completely honest. It's probably going to be my game of the year. And 2025 is one of the best games I have ever seen. I actually think it is the best year on my personal memory for releases. There have been so many incredible games this year. So the fact that I'm sat here saying this game might actually be my game of the year, in the year that contains some of the best releases I've ever seen, that is high praise, right? I'm not here to shit on Date Everything. If I didn't love this game, I wouldn't be here. But these characters in particular are giant shit stains on what is otherwise a masterful piece of art. This dude, he is your typical, like, you know, the mint, where's the mint sauce? It's fucking raw! You idiot sandwich! Like, he is that kind of, like, celebrity chef personality where he's just angry all the time. But he's mixed with the whole, like, home cooking thing. He's actually quite likable, and his little egg timer next to him is quite cute. Yeah, he's actually pretty likable. I'm gonna put him... Apparently I liked him more than I realized. Yeah, apparently I really did like him. I'm gonna put him here. Like, he's great, yeah. Very likable guy. I gotta feel like a lot of people hate him just because he's an angry twat all the time, but I do. Yeah, great guy. He is your trophy. I thought he was pretty good. But again, nothing super infused about. I just think he's pretty good. I think he's around the same vein as this, yeah. Because that's the thing, like, I feel like a lot of these characters from, like, her onwards, I do think they're good. But yeah, just something about them really bore me a little bit, I think. Telly is like the same kind of thing. Like, I actually hated Telly at first. I really hated Telly at first. But as it went on, I could see like a little bit of his backstory, a little bit of his personality, and I'm like, right, okay, I see where you're coming from here. Okay. A UI-chan, oh my god, she's so good. Like, there's some legitimate, like, game development fucking commentary with this character, by the way, in terms of, like, what goes into UI design and the various elements of game design that no one fucking comments on unless it's bad. The exception to that, of course, being Persona 5. But then what do people say about Persona 5? How nice it looks. Not how functional it looks. Not how accessible it looks. Just how nice it looks. And I think that's a really good bit of, like, video game development commentary. On top of that, her voice work is perfection. The whole meme thing where she puts like little like keyboard emojis. Back before we had proper emojis, we had to type them in the keyboard. And honestly, some of these I need to write down because some of her keyboard emojis are actually fucking brilliant. But no, she's a great fucking character. I'm gonna put her... I'm gonna say about... Ooh, where am I putting her? Like, I'm actually struggling. About here? Yeah, I'm gonna put her about here. She's fantastic. She's really good. One of the better characters in the game. Beautiful voice work. Fantastic voice work. Oh, the Sassy Chap. The Sassy Chap is honestly some of the most fun I have in the game. The Sassy Chap goes through every single fucking developer. Well, say every developer. The Sassy Chap, essentially, the whole thing with this guy is you go through a huge list of developers, writers, artists, CEOs, however the hell they've wanted to be kind of included. There's even one entry where, like, the writing is essentially, yeah, he didn't put it in on time, so we're just going to do this instead. Like, it's really funny. You get a bit of personality of some of the people. And, like, if anything, the personality of some of these developers. I did a big video on this, by the way, where I date the developers. I uploaded the whole thing of what my choices were. Some of them I really didn't like. They really rubbed me the wrong way. And some of them are really funny. One of the ones I told my friends recently was actually, I mentioned this once to my friends. I think she was an artist, and the question was, where did you first hear the song All Star by Smash Mouth? Well, it was League of Gentlemen? I think it's called, or something like that. It's the superhero movie from years ago. You know, the guy with the fucking guy with the forks and the spoons and the knives and things, like and then the rage guy, and the invisible dude, and, you know, all that kind of thing. I actually watched the movie again recently with a few friends. It's a great movie from the early 90s. I loved it. She hated me for that response. Why? Because she thought the only reason anyone would choose that response would be to be a hipster. Because obviously the correct response is the Digimon movie. I don't even remember it being in the Digimon movie. I've seen the Digimon movie like once my entire life. I don't remember it at all. Like, at fucking all. I love Digimon, but I do not remember that shit in the slightest. Mostly when it comes to Digimon, I remember how much I like Season 1 and Season 3, and that was it. Like, but, like, yeah, like, fuck you, too. Obviously, the whole thing, though, it's just a bit of a laugh. Do not take it seriously. These aren't real representations of the developers. It's just fun. A lot of these people are just having fun with it. But, the only kind of annoying part of it is, like, where a lot of the voice actors are like, oh, hey, I work for SAG-AFTRA, and things like that. And then if you're aware of the whole Hoyoverse thing, and you're like, how shitty a lot of those people that work for that organization are, like, a little bit of a thing. But, no, it's one of the most fun little modes in the game. Ooh, where would I put this? I think I'll put it there. Yeah, it's a really, really fun mode of the game. It's not really Sassy Chap you're dating, it's the developers. Very, very fun, though. Oh, fuck her. She's not, you know what, actually? No, fuck her. She's kind of annoying. Yeah, they're kind of in the same vein. I'm gonna put her even lower, actually, because she is at least more entertaining than her. Same thing for this dude, to be perfectly honest. He rubs me the wrong way. He's just kind of annoying to deal with. I think the way of putting it is, I don't think these are bad characters. I don't. I think that they just rub me the wrong way, right? So, for example, to get a good ending with Amir, I need to consistently ignore my inner voice that's saying, this guy is love bombing and gaslighting you, he's lying to you. And it's the same thing with him and him. And this guy's just a conceited prick. The reason why he's higher is because in order to get him, you need to go through, like, what in my opinion is, like, some of the funnest interactions in the game. So it doesn't bother me as much. I actually do really like his design change as well. I just don't, yeah. But, like, he's just a prick. He's just a prick. He's your typical, like, worker stereotype, like, builder stereotype, where he's a bit of a misogynist cunt, and that's kind of it. Yeah, not a fan. She's pretty good. I quite liked her. Where would I put her? She's a Tide Pod. She's a box of Tide Pods, and the Tide Pods are their own characters. I kind of liked her whole personality. I thought she was fun. I'll put her there. This guy is adorable. He's your towels and whatnot, and then he folds towels around into cute little animals. Kind of like water. I think people do that, actually. Because, you know, like balloon animals, but, like, with towels. Same kind of concept. He's cute. I don't really think much of him. It was kind of one of those ones I really enjoyed when I did him, and then kind of completely forgot about. There's a few like that, actually. What about there? Yeah. Again, that's in the same vein. I enjoyed all of these while doing them, and then kind of completely forgot about them, kind of thing. She's great. One thing I like about her is if you're too sexually aggressive with her, she will, like, just fuck you over completely, which is good, because too many of these characters are a little bit into the flirtation, so it's nice to have a little bit more reserved character. I do quite like her quite a bit. Yeah, she's going all the way up there. Oh, fuck this dude. This guy's so annoying. Timothy Timepiece. I initially got him to hate me, and then later on I kind of, like, gave him a candy just to get him as a friend. He's not very satisfying. He does end up becoming a train conductor or something because he's obsessed with time and organization. He's just an annoying twat. I really don't like him. He's more entertaining, so he goes ahead. Doug's really interesting because initially I fucking hated him. I thought he was a colossal twat. But as it went on, I actually grew to really, really like his quest line, and it ends up actually quite in a nice place. We kind of give him a little bit of faith back. He's good. He's good. He's a very well-written character. I will admit complete bias when I do this. I'll be completely honest, I think she's the hottest character in the game. And oh my god, when you realize her, she's... Whoa. When you realize her and she gets that new punky outfit, wow. Yeah, like this is purely my horniness talking, but she is wow. She's fun as well. I like her voice work, but she is like the hottest character in the game as far as I'm concerned. She's just perfection. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. Maybe no, yeah. Oh no, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I can't resist. Nah, she's going up there. She's great. I love her. Also, she unlocks him. Literally, she's a bobby pin, and she unlocks him because his door is locked. So yeah, she's great. I love her. Admittedly, a lot of that is sex appeal, but still, like, her quest line is really cool, and the ending of the quest line is really cool as well. Cam is kind of a Marmite character. He's actually very good, but he's just kind of difficult to understand. I'm gonna put him... I'm gonna put him here. I think that's about right. The rat trap guy is kind of gross, but also really funny. Where do I put him? I'm gonna put him about there. Wall. Wall. Wall, wall, wall. Wall. Wall, wall, wall. Wall. So she is, water. And she has a little bit of, an identity crisis. Because the fact is that people keep giving the advice, be herself. But what is herself? She is ice, she is water vapor, she is liquid, she is solid, she is all sorts. She can be hot and cold, she can be in your bath, she can be in your shower, she can be in your lunch, you can drink her. What is she? You can drink her while you drink her. Ice in water. It's just like, what is she? She is exactly what you need her to be at any given moment. So... nobody really knows who she is. No one really understands her. And she really wants to be kind of seen and understood. She really wants people to kind of like, know her. And she always asks people like, what the favorite version of her is. Like, she, for example, says ice, and she says ice because they can be preserved for a long time, because, again, she's a very sentimental person. She's Memoria. She cares about bringing, like, past things back. Whereas, yeah, like, people say different things for her, but you basically have to convince her, like, no, all of you is something beautiful. And it is. She's water! Imagine a world without water. Like, she is literally the most important thing in the entire fucking household. Brilliant character, very well realized, very cool concept, gorgeous design, really nice kind of realization when you bring it to life. She ends up, like, making candles and helping people make candles because she kind of gets enamored with the whole concept of wax and how it becomes a liquid and a solid so quickly. She's great. She's a really, really, really good character. Oh, she rubbed me the wrong way. So this is an example of a character that I could not have got anything but a hate ending if I had my real morality attached to it rather than just trying to get the good endings on characters. She essentially wants to fuck everyone. There's like several different people in the household that she's convinced herself, that she's in love with, and she is essentially the free love kind of person. She apparently she believes her love can go around to like several different people and she can love them equally, and she wants to like, and in order to get a good ending with her, you have to basically convince her that being a whore is a good thing and is perfectly fine. I'm not a fan, and I'm not a fan precisely because of my own morality. I'm not gonna lie. She just kind of rubs me the wrong way because of that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This girl, she is your window, and she's like a kind of nosy Karen. She's like the kind of bored housewife in your like suburban area that just looks out her window all the time and judges people. She's kind of likable, but she's also kind of a little bit of a dickhead, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put it there. Oh, dude. Shadow Lord 420! XX Shadow Lord 420 XX! I love him so much. Oh my god, I love him. He's so good. Yeah, he's going there. I love Shadowlord so fucking much. He is literally like a memory from my childhood. Essentially, his friends used to hang on like instant messenger back in the day, and they communicate with each other, and his name is that name because he wanted to be like, he wanted to stand out as like the one true Shadow Lord. That's why people did that, by the way, the whole XX things, because they chose a super generic name, and in order to differentiate it from other things, they would add like little bits like 420 and the XXX thing. And he just ends up being like an emo metalhead from like back in that era. So he has like his leather jacket and shit, but he also has like those striped emo glove things that you see me wearing on occasion. He's like that early 2000s emo metalhead goth kind of combination that you saw. And I love his design when he's this Shadow Lord beast creature with like the skull face and whatnot. And I love his design when he's like in his human form, where he's just like one of those like emo goth metalhead combination things that were really common in the 2000s. He was great. He's actually great. I love his voice work. I love both of his designs. I think he's a really cute character. He's full of nostalgia for me personally. He's very well realized of a very special point in my life. So like, yeah, he's perfect. Glitch, Damien the Glitch. This is something that I loved it at first. I thought the whole thing, the glitch thing was done really, really well. I did like it at first, but then at a certain point, it became kind of annoying. And then for the rest of the game, up until a point where I realized him and fixed it, the fucking, the chest of drawers that were by the bed were just glitched out the entire game, and it was really annoying. It just didn't, I wasn't a fan of it. And then the whole thing with Glitch is every single time Glitch shows up outside of one quest, which is hers, his whole thing is that he's a glitch, and the joke gets old really, really quickly. So I'm gonna put him about there. Yeah. Video game character, she's pretty cool. I don't know, her quest line's cool, her design's cool, her voice work's cool, but there's something about it where I feel as if they could do something better. Yeah, that's kind of like what it feels like. I'm gonna put her there. She rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know what it is about her. I just found her annoying. She's okay, don't get me wrong, I don't hate her. She's more interesting than Watchdale. I'm gonna put her there because she's more interesting than him, but he's just a better character. I'm gonna put him ahead, actually, I think. Yeah, I think that's about right. Elvis Presley, your shower. He's pretty likable, but then the joke gets old pretty quickly as well. Up there, I think. Oh god, Hirohime. I loved the resolution of Hirohime. I loved the realization of Hirohime. But despite the fact that I'm a JoJo fan and I do like anime, I'm not really a shonen guy. And this is like shonen magical girl kind of combination. And I just found her kind of annoying. I've got a feeling she's going to be another character people will either love or hate. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put her here. Okay. Keys is a bro. Keys is a really cool guy until you realize him. Once you realize he's the guy you get the candies from, by the way, in order to like remove the hate status of some of the characters, but you only get one candy per stat, right? And you only get the candy once that stat has reached a certain point. Keys is a bro. Keys is like a really cool guy. The problem with him is essentially, when you realize him, he becomes a colossal douchebag. And he ends up getting himself killed. Legitimately. But, like, the ending slide for Keys is literally, the body was never found. And the narrator's like, he's the only one like this, I swear. But he's a bro, and he's got such a great design up until that point, but his ending is, like, both awful and brilliant at the same time. I love this dude. Okay, so I said in the stream, when I streamed Date Everything, that one of the first things I would bring to life myself would be a blanket. Just because blankets are kind of warm and lovely and just kind of like cozy, and you can kind of take it anywhere. Like you've got to leave your bed in your house. You can't remove the doors from your house. But if you had a blanket, you could just shove it in your black backpack or something. You could actually go around and take it everywhere with you. So if you really fell in love with your blanket, you could. It wouldn't be like held back in any way. It wouldn't hold you back. You could take it around. And the whole thing with this dude is he's essentially he runs an animal rescue operation. So there's like animal characters that are like not dateables, animal characters in the game. Incidentally, this girl, she explains at one point that the reason why all of the dateables are humanoid is because it was designed for human eyes, so that the image you get of the personality of the items are all going to be humanized because it was meant for humans. If it was meant for animals, then they would showcase what the animal is using them is. However, there are objects in the universe. They're not dateable, but there are objects in the universe that are just straight up animals. So the fact that I can see them suggests that what she said there isn't true. But anyway, he's just a really sweet guy that cares a lot about animals. And I like that. So he's in the same kind of cute vein as these two, essentially. I'm going to put him here. Yeah, I think he's a really cute guy. She's just a flapper, essentially. She's a little bit broken because she was damaged. Decent quest line. She's in the kind of same vein where I liked it whilst I was doing her, but at the end of it, she's kind of forgettable. I'm gonna put her there. There. Excuse me. This is the character you unlock after you do the quest with, where is he? Jacques and this girl. She is a amethyst geode, and what's interesting about her is she acts like a god because she's been around for so long, and that actually makes complete sense because it's a big amethyst geode, so God knows how long that took to friggin' grow over time. She's a very short character with not a lot of depth, but I love her design, I like her voice work, and even though she's the kind of character that talks down to you, which I typically don't like that, she is one that I kind of remember fondly. She really sticks out. Where would I put her? I'm going to put her around there. Oh, the stairs. So fucking forgettable. Teddy, I'm going to be honest, Teddy creeps me out a little bit. And it's like Teddy creeps me out a little bit, right? The idea that you can love your Teddy when you've had that Teddy since you were a baby, there's a little bit of a pedophilic angle there that really creeps me out, and I can't get over it. I'll be honest, like, I can't get over it. And that's the sole reason he's that low. He's a really cute character, he's a really nice person, and when you realize him, he's just in like this big teddy bear onesie, and apparently spends all of his time in the coffee shop telling tales to people when you realize him. But his whole thing is he tells you bedtime stories, and I just think there's the whole pedophilic nature to him that it really kind of like rubs me the wrong way. It's not intended, but the idea, like, imagine this, right? You have, let me get my lunar here. You have a teddy bear, and you've had this teddy bear your entire fucking life. You've had this thing since you were a baby. Like, I've got one in there that is, like, a little older than me, right? It was bought, I think, like, a year or so before I was born, right? And I've had it my entire life. It's a Harrods bear. So imagine you had this plushie, right? And you've had this plushie since childhood. You've slept with it. It's been there. And the entire time, it's a grown-ass, big, fat guy. It's creepy. It's creepy. I'm sorry. It's creepy. I don't like it. I don't like it. It rubs me the wrong way. She's your toaster. She's a rock star. And she's boring. And to be honest, this is going to sound a bit racist, but because of her accent, I actually struggle to understand what the fuck she's saying a lot of the time. She is just kind of boring. I don't know what it is about her person. I just found her boring. A little bit better. A little, yeah, I'm gonna put it there. I like this guy. So this guy is... I don't know how real this is. Is this like Hawaiian culture or something like that? Because it feels like he's based on that. But he's your sofa. And the whole thing with him is quality time is his love language. So he appreciates people who don't need to talk all the fucking time. And just... If you can be someone who can just sit in silence and chill and just enjoy each other's presence for a little bit, that's how he falls in love with you. And to be honest, I really like that because no other character in the game is like that. And then you have this one character that's all about just taking a breather and just enjoying the presence of someone else and just enjoying your company. There's no insecurity. There's no need to talk all the fucking time. All you do is just sit there and enjoy each other's company. And I think there's a lot of people out there that could learn from that because I'm someone like that as well. If we're sat in the same room and we're not talking, I do not get insecure, but there's a lot of people who do. There's a lot of people like, oh shit, if we're not talking, then obviously this person doesn't like me and he doesn't want to talk to me, right? But some people just like that silence. They like that breather. I'm gonna put him about there. Oh my god, Copy is adorable. We got our trans representative character here. She is your copy character. She's your coffee character. She gives you coffee. She is your link to nightmare. Because if you have coffee way too late at night, apparently it's a chance to give you nightmares. It does in this game anyway. She is so fucking adorable. Her voice acting is adorable. I love her quest line. I love Coffee in general. She is going pretty high, I think. I'll put her here. Yeah, Copy's so fucking cute. I love her quest line. I like her design. I like her her resolution and all that kind of thing. She's great. Lyric, I think it is his name. He is writing. He is literature. He's all the books in the house. And you write a story with him, essentially. And it's fucking enjoyable. Like, the great base thing about this character is that story can go in all kinds of different directions. I'm going to put him here. That story can go in all kinds of different directions. You can go really raunchy with it. You can go very basic with it. You can do a mixture of all above. There's a lot of options you have, and then people react to it, right? It turned out pretty well for me. I went for kind of like a buddy cop movie with a little bit of romance, and it turned out quite well. She is your work, and I've got to be honest, didn't really like her that much. I'll put her here. She's one of the best characters. So this isn't actually an object. She's a ghost. One of the last characters I found, to be perfectly honest. I had to look her up online. There was one space left. Couldn't figure out how to get it. I never noticed the orb in the attic once you... Because basically the way it works is once you use all of your charges for the day, the attic... has like this orb glow, and it's a ghost. It's a ghost of someone that was killed in the house back in the 80s, essentially. And you help her figure out like what like her past, and then you can later you can realize, or you can bring her back to life, which the implications of that are insane. But her voice acting is fucking incredible. The writing around her character is fucking incredible. And this is probably the biggest quest out of all of them in terms of characters. Every single meta character appears on the screen. So you have Holly, the holiday character. You have Sassy Guy, the developer character. You have Nightmare, the concept of nightmares. You have UI-chan for the UI. Who else shows up? Fucking Shadow shows up. Memoria shows up. Art shows up. Like, all of these kind of like concept characters show up in one place. And in fact, doing this, I've just realized how much I like the concept characters more so than the object characters. And they fill the fucking screen. They completely fill the screen like 2 times over. They're everywhere. And you do like this big kind of like a ritual so all the other people in the house can see her. All the other Dateables can see her, and she can see them. So she has so many friends, and you deal with the whole thing of like basically talking with her is kind of like talking with someone who's bringing back to the surface repressed trauma. And it's really well done, and you feel so bad for her, and her voice acting is incredible. It's one of the strongest moments in the entire game, which is why she gets pretty fucking high. I think the break is here, because I just love these guys so much. So, there it is. We've got Love, and this kind of goes from, like, art all the way to Nightmare, are just 110% perfection. So not only do I think they're overall really, really good in every way, but they appeal to something about me in particular. So this guy is very nostalgic and, like, very much to my taste. This guy hits something very, very real with struggles I personally have dealt with and have dealt with all my life, as well as a few people in my life have dealt with. Her, I just think is, like, I think she's generally, in general, she's really attractive. I love her, her voice acting. I love her design. She adds stuff to the house at the end of it. I just think her questline's great. Her, it's a case of being really, really attractive. Again, she adds stuff to the house. I love her concept and everything about her. Her ending is great. Her ending is great as well. He's the full package as well. His ending is great. He adds stuff to the house. I think the quest line is really cool. And then at that point, it goes to, like, just really, really good quest line. Really, really good quest line. Great concepts. Pure attraction, I'm not gonna lie. Really, really fun, but, like, the hottest character in the game. Again, great concept. Brilliant voice acting. Cool design. Super cute, like, unbelievably adorable. The cutest character in the game. So fucking cute, so adorable. Great quest line, great resolution. Super well written, great concept. Just great voice acting. The reward at the end as well, where you see really what he really looks like. The whole concept of hot and cold kind of thing. Amazing voice acting, really fun quest line. Amazing voice acting, really fun quest line. Super fucking cute, great voice acting. You know, good quest line. Again, same thing, great voice acting. Super adorable. Apparently, I have a type. I'm noticing a great quest line, really cool concept. Really cool concept. Great voice work, all that kind of thing. Really well done. Great concept, cool design, great voice. Super likable, super likable. These are joined together, very similar characters. Just very heartwarming, very wholesome, just cool people. Just fun and funny and a good time. Fun and funny and a good time. Fun and funny and a good time. He's connected to her, so same thing. Fun and funny and a good time. Good time, very cute, very wholesome. She actually learns from her mistakes. Good time, cute, wholesome, fun quests. Cute, wholesome, fun quest. Cute, wholesome, fun quest. Fucking meme and great about it, right? So they're all the love ones. And then I'd say your friend, your colleague, up until about here are, like, really great characters. Really, they just don't quite hit the mark of love for me. Then I'd say Keys onwards, let's say until Dorian. So Keys, Michelin, this guy, the Luke guy, Doug, Maggie, they're all, like, really good quest lines, really good characters, you know, useful in some way. Dorian's just a really good concept, great voice acting, great design, a lot of variety. I really like him. I'm actually surprised how high he is, but I just like the whole tortured artist thing. She has made a bigger impression on me than I really realized. Her design is fucking gorgeous. Like, the picture doesn't give her credit. She really stands out. She was really unique to find. Very, very funny resolution once you realize her. Really, really funny. Like, I burst out in laughter with that thing. He is a really well done kind of, like, steamy sexual interaction kind of thing. This is how you do domineering characters, like dominant characters. You don't do them like this, where you give them no fucking choice. You do them like that. Cool concept, you know, all this kind of thing. You get the idea by now. And then I'd say about the time you hit, I'd say Curtain Rod. By the time you hit Curtain Rod, these are characters that, like, I like, but have some real problems. And then at a certain point, it comes to, I like, but are kind of forgettable afterwards, right? And again, I like, but kind of rub me the wrong way. I like, but also kind of boring at some point. A same thing, rub me the wrong way a little bit, but I like. I like, but has a bit of an issue. I like, but got bored, but got really repetitive at some point. Started out bad, ended up good, but for the most part, not a fan. Kind of boring. Kind of boring until the end. Kind of boring until like halfway through. A joke that got boring pretty quickly. A joke that got boring pretty quickly rubbed me the wrong way. I honestly can't say a single negative thing about him except the fact that he bored me to tears. Again, a joke that overstays its welcome. A joke that overstays its, or a concept that overstays its welcome. Just kind of irritating in general. Bland. Wall. The implications just forgettable. And then at this point we've got he just doesn't. He's just kind of a twat. He's just kind of an incel, and once he's removed from like the fun drama, he just kind of becomes boring. Personal issue with love bombing. This guy is written like an abuser, but ends up not being. And I think the whole quest line with him and him. Just they rub me the wrong way, but he's down here just purely because he's written like an abuser. Like, it's really hard to not see him as an abuser. Funny, but really hard to get a hate ending without feeling like an idiot. Kind of a misogynist, kind of a conceited, egotistical fucking dickhead. Conceited, egotistical dickhead. A joke that gets really boring right from the start. Personal values when it comes to fucking sleeping around, essentially, and acting like there's something beautiful about it when it's really not. You're just justifying your own actions. Cunt, and then we've got the last two here that are just terrible. Like every other character in this list, is good to a certain degree. A lot of these down here are just taste. Benoit and Sophie, actually awful. Legitimately really bad writing and kind of trapping you in a very shitty situation. And just saying, oh, if you're triggered, skip it, is a really lazy way around it. There should have been better writing around these characters for a better ending. Maybe convincing Benoit that essentially they can be valuable in some way. Maybe even as an art piece. Like, I'm gonna be straight up here. Some dildos and butt plugs and like sex toys are actually really pretty to look at, right? As an art piece, they're actually really pretty to look at, right? Especially some of the more novelty ones, right? Not all of them, but some of them. You could convince Benoit that he was that. Like, he's got a little rose on him here. Maybe he was a butt plug in the shape of a rose. Maybe the reward could be you take him out of the little sack and you put him on display somewhere, right? Like, as a little plastic rose. It's a butt plug, but it's a little plastic rose, and he can be, or it's non-binary, so it can be, kind of respected and admired without the constant sleep with me or you're a bad person. Because that's essentially what Benoit is. Have sex with me or you're a bad person. And I am never going to gel with that bullshit. And again, like, Sophie's the same thing. Appease my kinks or you're a bad person. I'm never going to gel with that shit. And just saying, oh, you should have selected the trigger warning, that's a shit lazy cop-out. But overall, Date Everything is one of the best written, most interesting games, and most unique games I've ever played. And it's a strong chance of being my game of the year. I'm not quite decided what my top 5 would be, but I have decided that Date Everything is on my top 5 this year. So this being a really long video talking about my thoughts of like all these characters. Great game. Seriously, go play it. Get the DLC, because the DLC is very much worth it. Get the game, play it. Tell me what you think, right? Because it is, if you've not played it, it is truly something special. It is an absolutely fan-fucking-tastic game. If you've enjoyed this video, thank you very much. Let me know your opinions before. Let me know, like, your top 5, your top 10 fucking dateables. Like, so mine would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Which I think is really reasonable. It's a shame that, like, I really like him. It's a shame that he gets lopped off the end there. But, again, really, really good fucking game. And again, like, indies are the future. Indies are the best game. Like, the best games at this point. They're really good. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Ugh, words, I use them.